It's time to cash in on this week's college football action. I've done the research, run all of the numbers, found the best bets that can give you the edge. Whether you're looking for a lock or an underdog with serious value, stick around. These picks just might surprise you. Quick look back at week 1 results, guys. I did a really good job week 1. 8-2, both straight up and against the spread. LSU cost me, and so South Dakota State against the spread. But overall, I mean, these picks were pretty good last week. Let's keep it going. Roll right into week 2. Let's get another good week. Starting with the first game, Georgia Tech versus Syracuse. Georgia Tech is 2-0, surprisingly, after they defeated Florida State. And now they're looking to go 3-0 against Syracuse. They're 3-point favorite in this one. The numbers favor Georgia Tech. I think they're going to win it outright and cover the 3-point spread. They're 10-6 on the road against the spread the last 3 years. I think they get it done and cover against the Orange. Next game is SMU versus BYU. SMU comes in as a 10.5-point favorite. The numbers, once again in this one, overwhelmingly favor SMU. They're 13-6 against the spread at home in the last 3 years, while BYU is 6-10 on the road. So this one is going to be one for SMU. I think they cover the 10.5 points. Obviously, they win outright against Big 12 opponent BYU. Number 13 game, Auburn hosts California. Auburn's a 13.5-point favorite in this one. I think this is almost a toss-up with the spread. I think Auburn's obviously going to win the game outright, but I think the spread, I do think Auburn will also cover the spread, 13.5 points. They're kind of even in this one. The numbers just slightly favor Auburn, and we're going to go with the Tigers clearing the 2-touchdown spread in this week 2 non-conference victory. Number 12 game, one of the more interesting games of week 2. Kansas going on the road at Illinois. Illinois is projected to finish 5-7, while Kansas is supposed to at least compete for a Big 12 championship. But the spread for this one is only 5.5 for the Jayhawks. And I think this one is basically a toss-up both ways. I'm going to hedge my bets. I'm going to say Kansas wins outright. But since this is a night game on the road, early season, I think Illinois covers a 5.5-point spread. And the Illini, surprise a lot of people in this early season matchup against one of the top-tier teams in the Big 12. Number 11, Utah facing Baylor. First conference game for Utah in the 2024 season. They come in as a 14.5-point favorite at home. And just like the SMU game, I think they're going to overwhelmingly favor Utah. 13-7 against the spread at home in the last 3 years, while Baylor's 7-8 on the road. Utah's going to cover this one, 14.5. Obviously, they went outright as well. Number 10 game of the week, Washington State hosting Texas Tech. Now, Texas Tech is a slightly better team in terms of the power ratings, but Washington State's actually the slight favorite in this one, 2 points. I think Washington State wins it outright, and they cover the 2 points. The numbers just favor Wazoo, 13-8 versus 7-9 against the spread. I'm going to... Not much else to say. Numbers don't lie. Wazoo's going to cover this 2-point spread against Texas Tech. Number 9 game, Arizona State against Mississippi State. Now, early season matchups, the SEC has not done well going on the road, playing in a night game on the West Coast in the first 3 weeks of the season. The last 3 years, there's only been one team in the SEC that has won that on the West Coast in the first 3 weeks of the season. That has been Mississippi State. And because of that, and along with the numbers in this one, I think not only does Mississippi State cover the 5.5 points as an underdog, but I think they win outright against the Sun Devils out in the desert in Arizona. Next game on the list, Nebraska against Colorado. Another interesting early season matchup. Everybody jumped on the Colorado hype train going into this game. Last year, they won by double digits. This year, Nebraska at home is only a 7-point favorite, touchdown, but they are a much better team. Dylan Raiola, the week 1 result for them, has definitely given this team a big boost in terms of what they needed to be at least a competent team heading into the Big Ten season. I think Nebraska outright wins this game, but I think that stat there in the middle for Colorado, 6-2 as an outright underdog since the beginning of last year. I think they cover the 7-point spread. This could be a field goal game, in my opinion. Nebraska wins, Colorado covers. Number 7 game, Kansas State versus Tulane. Tulane's one of the probably five best group of 5 teams that will challenge for the CFP berth, while Kansas State is obviously going up against Kansas, Utah for the Big 12 championship. And they're a 9-point favorite even on the road in Louisiana. I think the numbers favor Kansas State in this one. I think they cover the spread, and obviously they win outright against Tulane. Not much else to say about this one. Number 6, Kentucky versus South Carolina. Now, this is one of the absolute mid SEC games of the entire season, but it's really close. Early season matchup. Kentucky's a 9-point favorite. The over/under is only 42.5, so this is gonna be a low-scoring game. But just like Colorado as an underdog, I think the numbers here favor Kentucky as a favorite. They're 6-2 since the start of last year as the favorite against the spread, while South Carolina 6-7-1 as the away team since the 2021. I think Kentucky wins and they cover the 9-point spread in this early season conference matchup. Number 5 game, another high-ranked Group of 5 team, Boise State going on the road to Oregon. Both teams had kind of a lackluster defensive performance. Actually, Boise State gave up a lot of points. Oregon was very lackluster on offense. Both teams looking to rebound very nicely, but Vegas says that Oregon is a 3-touchdown favorite in this one. And how much the numbers say that Oregon will cover this, I just think 3 touchdowns against probably the best Group of 5 team, even though it's even in the early season, I just think that's too much. I think Oregon will win the game, obviously, but I think this would be more closer to a 14 to 17 point game than 3 full touchdowns. I think Boise State covers the spread. Number 4 game, Tennessee going on the road at NC State. I'm shocked at how wide this spread is. It might change, a half a point to a point in the next couple of days, but I still think 10 points is a lot of points to give up or to lay on Tennessee, especially going on the road in ACC play. They're 8-4 as the favorite against the spread since the beginning of last year, but NC State as an underdog is still 5-3. So this is almost like a toss-up. I think Tennessee is going to win. NC State covers the 10 points, and I think this will be within a touchdown game. Tennessee wins outright, though. Number 3, Oklahoma State against Arkansas. Now, Oklahoma State is probably one of the favorites to win the Big 12. Arkansas is looking for another, at least get bowl eligibility this year, especially how tough the SEC is, top to bottom. Oklahoma State's going to win this game. Even though they're 7.5-point favorite, I think they win. Although that half a point spread there it put me over the edge to say that Arkansas is going to cover this. They're 8-3-1 since 2021 against the spread as an away team. And as an underdog, they're 4-2 against the spread since the start of last year. So I think Arkansas has just enough to. This game will be 7 points. They'll make sure that will solidify that they actually cover the game. I think they're going to lose, but they're going to cover. Number 2 game, Cyclone Country, Cy-Hawk Trophy, Iowa against Iowa State. Iowa is a 3-point favorite, the over-under being 35, so very low-scoring game. Not as quite as their 29.5 last year when they faced Northwestern, which was still hit the under. But this game, I think, it favors Iowa slightly. Cade McNamara provided a sensational boost for them last week. They hit almost 500 yards of offense. Yeah, it was against an FCS team, but everybody that's watched Iowa since post-COVID sees this team as like, if they put up 250 yards and 13 points, they're winning the game. But this defense, I don't think, is as good as previous years, but their offense, if they keep it up, at least be competent passer with Cade McNamara. This team's going to be a decent team. I think they get to at least 9 wins this year overall. This game, however, I think Iowa wins, and I think they cover the 3-point spread. It'll be a close game. I think it'll be more than the field goal that Vegas is saying it's going to be. Now, the biggest game of the season so far, and probably the biggest non-conference matchup of the entire season. Number 9, Michigan hosting number 3, Texas. Both teams are projected to, get to at least 9 wins, and Texas is obviously supposed to contend for an SEC title and therefore a CFP top 4 berth. While Michigan, as we saw last week with their quarterback play, it is up to anybody's guess at how good this team could be. It'll go as far as their quarterback will take them, though. Their running game's there, their defensive line is there, their defensive back play is there, but it just has to be, can the quarterback do enough to be a game manager plus to do the play actions, pass the ball when they're expecting run. It doesn't need to be, J.J. McCarthy-esque, but this team just needs to find a quarterback and fast, because if it's not going to be, this is going to be a long game for them. And I think in the end it will be. I think Texas is going to win this, and I think as a 7.5-point favorite, Texas will cover the spread. I think this game is going to be close first quarter, close at halftime. It's going to be decent in the third, and then in the end, I think Texas, with a veteran quarterback, with a much superior offensive line to Michigan's, and just better offensive play, they're going to be on the field more. Their defense is going to get tired for Michigan, and I think they're just going to get some, I wouldn't say a very late score, but it'll be, my guess is it'll be 10, 13-point game towards the end there. And I think Texas gets one of the biggest non-conference wins of this early season, and they go on the road and cover the 7.5 points against Michigan in the #1 game of the week in week 2. So there you have it, guys. These picks could be your ticket to a winning week, or we could just have a wild ride. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights and breakdowns before next kickoff. See you in the next video, and just remember, bet smart, just trust the numbers. See you next time, guys.